Keel's here?
Well, Akil's here, you're here, Jack's here.
All respects due to MLK.
Dr. King would be proud that we have an integrated show.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
Dr. King would be proud of parts of the looks of the way the world looks right now.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Basketball played a big role in that.
I would say, though, that in the marathon of life, we've run a long way, but there's a long way to go.
Long way to go.
And, you know, let's face it, there are times and places when we could not be together like this in the old Jim Crow South. Black, white, African American, majority culture, TV in a restaurant at a countertop.
Yep.
I mean, those things were difficult, you know. And I say this respectfully, being my age, I lived through that. I watched it go on from the living room of my parents' house, watching on TV. So I think it's great. I think it's great that it's a holiday celebrated in the U.S. I'd love to see it become a holiday up here. He's a great humanitarian.
I agree with you, Jonesy.
He's a great humanitarian. Why is it
Yeah, give it up for
celebrated
MLK.
worldwide?
One time.
Jonesy.
And for our guy, Jonesy.
What he wanted is where we're trying to head in terms of equality. Men, women, racial, gender, like
Different abilities.
just equal.
Everyone across the board.
Like, judge me by the content of my character,
Yes.
not anything else. I won't even say color of my skin, but anything else. So it's great. Every time we're here and we do something like this, and our former coach in Toronto, Dwayne Casey, and I used to talk about this all the time. Dwayne was, I think, only the 4th or 5th African American to play in Kentucky.
Yep.
The SEC was the last conference to fully integrate in football and basketball.
Right.
So, like, we've come a long way. We have a long way to go, but we've come a long way.
Well, education is paramount when you want progress, and I think with education there has to be awareness. And for more awareness,
Right.
why don't we petition? I don't know who we can talk to, but we got to talk to somebody to try to make this a national holiday. This should be like that. You know people. People.
I co-sign. Jack's got a lot of sway over on this side of the border, but
That's
I
true.
co-sign absolutely. MLK Day should be recognized here in Canada too. He's we're kin, both the United States and Canada. We're kin in a lot of the things we do, and I think I'm down. I'm down. You tell me where to sign, I'll sign, and I'll push it.
What does this day mean to you personally when you see the celebrations that the NBA is doing throughout the day, and just reflecting on what Paul was saying?
For me personally, knowing that, listen, my life has been the NBA, right? And I'm a benefactor of the work that the league has done to, I say this often, to normalize the presence of black men, successful black men on the screen, to give myself heroes to grow up to, right? And to see the league make it part of their agenda that they take over the airwaves, right? On Martin Luther King Day every year, I think is, it's paramount for young men to see these successful black men, their images being broadcast across the nation, and it does a lot for us in terms of creating hope for the future and creating and lifting all the ceilings off of what a lot of people who grow in compromising situations think is possible for them. A lot of these players come from different walks of life, got guys from Africa, inner city United States, all across the world. We have a black player from Germany. All their stories need to be told, and I think the NBA is a platform to tell those stories. So I'm glad that they take MLK Day and they take over the airwaves.
Jack, your thoughts?
Well, you know, as you guys know, I'm a father of 3 African American sons.
Yeah.
You know, so obviously it's near and dear to me as well, and obviously my life in basketball, playing, coaching, broadcasting. I think the NBA is at the forefront of being able to raise the awareness level, and I think it's a wonderful thing. And I thought Garrett Temple tonight, both in the video and in his brief chat to the arena, said it so beautifully and so eloquently that, you know, I look at it and I go, wow, if you're his dad or mom, how proud. And, you know, I look at my 3 sons, how proud I am of them. And I've walked in different shoes that they've walked in. I've tried to help guide them in their journey, and I'm proud of the journey that they're on. And I wholeheartedly agree with Akil and Paul in terms of I would love to see this become not only a holiday in the United States, but in Canada.
You know, Randy, you know, to Jack's point, and sports is that microcosm of society.
Yep.
Isn't it amazing what you can do when everybody is working toward the same goal? Everybody on a team in a uniform, or the NBA, everybody is working toward the same goal.
Yeah.
You can push the ball down the field, you can make some noise, you can do something, you can change things, but it takes everybody to do it. And that's the problem with our world right now. Not everybody's willing to be accepting of differences, all the things that Akil mentioned. Jack talking about raising three African. He's never walked in their shoes, but look at how successful they are. Look at what they got from Jack and Dina. Why? Because we're all working toward the same goal here. We're not seeing differences, right? And I know this from my time in education. Kids will play together the whole time. Nobody says anything to anybody until somebody says, hey, watch out for the insert kid here.
Yeah.
Whatever it is, race, color, creed, the black kid, the Jewish kid, the Muslim kid. Kids don't see that.
Yep.
They don't.
And the same way we can teach acceptance, the problem is people are teaching inequity and hate and all the other stuff too. That's learned too. So, this day, I reflect on it a lot when it comes up, because I watched the funeral.
Yeah.
The night that Martin Luther King Jr. was shot, I was at junior choir practice. My father, a very stoic man, came to pick me up on a Thursday night. It was the first time I'd seen adults cry because this is what happened. Our world was changed. In 1968, in a matter of 2 months, we lost
JFK?
Martin Luther King and Robert Kennedy. Between April and June, two of the main guys, one majority culture Caucasian, the other one African American, pushing for changes in civil rights. Both of them exterminated. It's tough to take.
Thank you for those words, Jonesy. And it's important to continue to talk about this because you said 1968 and you said that you lived through it, and you're not old. That wasn't that long ago.
It's in our lifetime.
And that is, it's scary to me. Because you think of it as something that's so far in the past, and it's not that far in the past, and it continues to things still continue to happen
And let's
now.
hope, and I think both of you agree with, let's hope the young people don't lose sight of that, of the journey that so many folks before them, and the struggles and the fight that they took on that have made their life better now. I think it's great that we celebrate this every year to bring awareness to the young people that are living a better life now, that they can't lose sight of what the folks before them did to make their life better.
And I think the NBA guys recognize that.
I agree with you.
I really do. And,
Yeah.
We have the good fortune of sitting down and talking to Wayne Embry. Mr. Embry talking about his late wife, Terry, getting on a bus to go and march in the South, and he says, no, you're not. And she says, yes, I am. And, those are the kinds of things that push the ball forward and lead to change.
We stand on the shoulders of giants.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Amen.
Yeah.
Love that, buddy.
Well said.
Yeah, honestly, thank you guys for your words and just being here. Tough to transition from that, but let's talk about the basketball game today.
Talk hoops.
The basketball was a small thing in this grand scheme of life, but it's why we're all here together.
It's important to us.
Yeah. So just your impressions, Akil, of watching that game today. First impressions.
Listen. I'm super impressed with what Quickly and RJ have brought to this team. The unfortunate part is they come in mid-season, and so the entire group hasn't had a chance to acclimate to how to play with them. They've come in like gangbusters. I believe they've led the team in scoring now 5 out of the 7 games. One of them has been the lead scorer. Emmanuel Quickly 3 times, RJ twice. And they've really brought a certain amount of life and energy to the offense, playing at a crazy pace. I think Scotty still needs time to adjust and to settle into his own style. And I think the real swing in this game was when RJ subbed out in that third and things kind of got away from the Raptors because they couldn't recreate that energy and that momentum that those guys had created. But, listen, down 2 guys, Jakob, Gary, a limited bench, and they battled with a top-tier Celtics team, 30-9, number 1 in the conference, averaging 120 points per game. there's a lot to walk away from. There are no moral victories like Jack always tells me, but I think there's stuff to walk away from when you're building forward as a Raptors organization.
Jonesy, your impressions?
Akil said it best, that third quarter. I mean, and you look at the way the game is played now. Raptors had more field goals, 25, 30 more points in the paint.
Yep.
Free throw attempts, negligible.
The three-point shooting, yeah.
Boston outscored them like 16-4 from behind the arc.
Yeah.
That's 36 points.
You know, and it's interesting, tonight, you know, you look at the Raptors came into the game really shooting the ball well from three, and they got good shots tonight. It's not like they got bad shots. They didn't turn the ball over. I thought they played better defensively after a rough night in Utah the other night, and their defense has struggled of late. Their offense has gotten better. I thought tonight their defense was good. It's just now about hitting that level of consistency each night where you can string it together on both sides. But I thought the defense was good enough to win tonight. And I thought the ball movement and all that stuff was good enough. The shooting wasn't good enough.
Yeah.
But that's it, really.
Just with that point, at Pimhoff is watching on YouTube. Big New York IQ fan. He's going to be great for you. They're still figuring it out. Raptors have essentially been on the road since the trade. Give them some time in their home gym and watch. Feel like we're getting there, right?
I mean, Akil and I talked about this on the floor.
Yeah.
You're doing it on the fly.
Yeah.
There's no training camp. You've got two guys
Right.
that kind of have played together, know each other, and you got a bunch of other guys with "Hi, my name is" tags on there because they don't. There's no training camp. There's no time to build that. And the way the NBA is nowadays, you don't practice.
Yeah.
You're trying to save your energy, rest for games. I mean, you watch video and stuff, but you're not out there going full speed to acclimate. So, you know, it's tough. I like the potential in this, but I don't see we're going to see the full benefits until next year. I mean, you would hope they could sneak into the play-in and get some experience together, because everybody's had experience. Scotty's had playoff experience. Schroeder's had it. Quickly and Barrett have had it. They've all had it. It's just been patchwork, piecework. They need it together to try and build something.
Yeah. Defensively, they were much better tonight than they have been on that road trip. What stood out execution-wise on that end of the floor for you?
They attacked Jason Tatum, right? They double-teamed him at times, forced him to get the ball out of his hands, made other people try to make plays and make shots, and that's key on a night when you don't have Jaylen Brown. Then the Celtics got to look further down the list. Who's going to make shots? Who's going to be present? And I think that's one thing the Raptors did well tonight. I think that was the key, was to make Jason Tatum uncomfortable and to get the ball out of his hands. But unfortunately, the Celtics are a team, they've got a lot of players. Like, this is not a joke roster. They've got a lot of guys down that depth chart. Peyton Pritchard, a guy that I thought would do a lot better this year, but tonight he shows up a little bit in that fourth quarter. They've got bodies.
And then you start the game double teaming Porzingis, and of course with that many shooters, that's tough.
Well, they got shooting at all five positions,
Yeah.
and they share the ball. And I said this after the game. I look at Jaylen Brown. I look at Jason Tatum. I think those guys respect their roster and their teammates. I feel like they've taken that next step as mature young players now, where they're not forcing their game as much. I thought Tatum tonight had a presence about him. And you weren't going to rush him. You weren't going to get him off his game. And the Raptors did a good job trying to do that, but he would still make that next pass. He's like, okay, fine, I'll give it to this guy. I'll give it to that guy. I really like what they're doing. I thought their third quarter defense late was tremendous. And they mix up their coverages and the different types of zones they play. They did the right thing, packing the paint, making the Raptors beat them for the point.
What I thought was interesting was watching them play their, I guess, 2-3 zone that became a 1-2-2 zone with Drew Holiday in the middle.
Yep.
They had the big guys out on the wings.
Yeah.
It's true, because most of the time with the shot, if the ball goes to the other side, you want a big guy there for rebounding. But they put a mobile, agile, smaller guy to kind of roam, and it was almost like a box and one with that guy. Like, there were times when Toronto would screen the high guy on the zone, and Drew Holiday would jump out like a man-to-man. It was very interesting to see the way Boston played that.
Two thoughts on that, too. the big point of emphasis in the NBA is get corner threes. When you have the two tallest guys going out on that,
Right.
changes the release point.
Right.
The other thing, too, is there are times they start zone, and then you make a pass to the wing, and bang, they match up man to man, and they're more than willing to say, all right, we'll match up any way possible.
Yeah.
So you start your zone attack, and then you start your zone offense, and then bang, they match up man.
Yeah.
So they're doing some cool stuff in their defense.
Yeah.
And that's going to be really effective against a group that's still figuring out how to play offense together, right? So the
Yeah.
Raptors kind of on their heels when Joe Mazzulla whips out a weapon like that.
Yeah, it's funny. You really miss a guy like Pirtle in games like this because you look on the floor and then they played Porzingis and
Cornette.
together.
Yeah,
You know, it's
yeah.
like-
There was some
That's 14
interior,
feet.
Yeah.
some interior passing with those two guys, and you look around and
yeah.
Scotty's the tallest guy on the floor
Right,
for Toronto.
right,
you know?
right.
And to that point, I thought Porter played well too. It's unfortunate he got into foul trouble.
Yeah.
I like the fact, and we've talked about this before. He's playing well within himself and the system.
Yeah, we're
Once the
going to
shots
talk
start
about him
falling.
in a little bit, but first let's welcome in Rai Asuro for our fan of the night. Give it up for Rai. Come on in,
right.
buddy.
What up, What up, Pops?
What's up, man? How are you?
All right, here we go.
Have a seat here. Get in here. I'll pass you the mic. Thank you. What's up, Rai? You know these guys? Jack, Akil,
Yeah,
Paul?
watch you guys
Old
all
friends.
the time.
All right. Appreciate that. Thank you.
So my question tonight is about RJ.
Yep.
What are you learning about RJ that you didn't know before?
Good question.
Not much. I tell you what's been confirmed for me, Ryan.
I've learned a couple of things.
This
Don't
guy's
worry.
got. He's. I always thought I knew. I mean, I've watched him grow up. He played against my kids when they were. I always knew, kind of figured he had a little bit of that dog in him, like get downhill, didn't settle for jump shot. It's being confirmed the more and more I see it now, and I love the fit here in Toronto. In New York with Randall and Brunson handling the ball, it was sometimes RJ go stand in the corner.
Yeah.
And what happens, we've all played, what happens when you're standing in the corner and you don't get the ball, when you get it, you say, I'm going to do something. It's my turn now. And it leads to sometimes bad shots, tough plays. And his lineage has taught him how to play this game properly. So you see him in Toronto here, it's not stand in the corner. He gets it, he's going downhill, he's passing the ball. The one thing that I've had confirmed is he's a sneaky good rebounder.
Well, he plays better on the move, and to Jonesy's point. And I said it the night they made the trade, I think the style of offense Toronto uses will help his game because he's a thinking man's player. He moves without the ball. He's great at cuts. I mean, he and Thad Young had two beautiful but that takes basketball understanding and savvy and know-how. So to me, I think this style of play helps him. And look, it's hard to be a consistent player when you're catching the ball and you're in a stationary position. I think when you're breaking a sweat and you're cutting, you're moving, I think it just helps his game. And the other thing is, no disrespect to OG Anunoby, he's got more blank in his game in terms of the dribble to make plays.
Yeah.
There are going to be times he makes a low percentage play and you got to bite your tongue and go, oh, I'm not crazy about that. But overwhelmingly, he does a pretty good job making the high percentage play, and he'll make it on the move. He'll put it down. He made a move tonight in transition where he made a play, got to the basket, drew a foul. Respectfully, OG Anunoby, that's not his game.
Did you know he had that much blank in his game?
You know what? I think I did, but here's the trick. I think there's more room to grow than I thought originally. In New York, I think they kind of said, this is who he is, and he's not going to get any better than this, and we need more. But I think in this situation in Toronto, you realize this kid's got another level, right? There are things that he can add to his game, and it's about opportunity. Jonesy hit the nail on the head when he was talking about the fact that when he gets a different opportunity in a different situation, you're going to see a different player, and that's what we're seeing here in Toronto, because he's been gangbusters since he arrived.
Yeah. You ready to spin for a prize?
Ready to dial, here we
then
go.
Shoot for that prize? Let's do it.
What's the premium
We got
prize?
some prizes up there
What's
today.
the premium prize?
We got
He wants some tickets.
No tickets over
that's-
Jasmine wants tickets.
Randy keeps selling the tickets on eBay.
There's a signed jersey there. I think. Suck. Let's do another spin. That was a
One more spin, one more spin.
Give it a good spin here. Give it a good spin. What do we got here?
And
We
we're
got a
shooting
$2 gift card, scarf, hoodie. Hoodie.
hoodie.
That's a good
All right,
one.
hoodie.
All right, come over here. Come to the line. Yeah, We moved it back because
This is going to be
we'll just
eyes
make it-
closed.
Higher.
Yeah, I know. You can probably dunk
You're
it.
messing
though.
up his jump shot.
You get another
Hey.
shot. You get another shot.
Hey!
All right.
Hoodie!
Get the hoodie. Here's your hoodie. Right, come
I
on
have
over
the
here,
hoodie.
show it to the camera and give a shout out
Love
to
it,
anybody
love it.
you want.
Shout
Jasmine
out to
wearing
my
that on the show
kids
tomorrow.
and my daughter especially,
All right.
and we're the biggest fans.
Who's your
See
daughter?
Jasmine wearing that on the show
There's
tomorrow.
Jasmine. There's your daughter, Jasmine. What's up, Jasmine?
Yeah.
All right, give it up for Rye. Thanks, man. Appreciate it, buddy. Woo!
Good work, sir.
All right, Ryan.
Thanks, Rye. Good stuff. Shout out Jasmine.
My producer over at Raptors today.
There she is. There she is.
1A and 1A, Jake LaRue.
Jake Leroux out here slumming with the kids, just hanging out.
Let's do a little overtime real quick here. Well, before that, I want to talk a little more Jonte Porter Jr. or Jonte Porter. It's impressive when you look at his history because this guy blew his knee out twice when he got to the league, and now he's putting it all together. It's hard to come back from that type of injury.
And you know, he every game I watch him, he looks more and more comfortable. He's got a lot of tools in the toolkit. He can
Yeah.
pass it. He can shoot it a little bit. He just has a nice feel for the game. He looks like an NBA player.
Yeah,
And it's just going to take time for him to get up to speed with the pace of the game. But you know, he picks up. I get a tough screening call tonight where he picked up a foul. But and look, Thad Young had a stretch where he gave incredible minutes, so you had to roll with that. But I like him.
I think part of his story was he was going to walk away from the game, and his brother had to tell him, "Nah, you're not ready, and there's more life." And shouts out to the Raptors for making the trade to bring him in because, listen, I didn't know much about the kid when he got to the 905, but from his first minutes on the floor at the 905, he made it clear he had an NBA skill set. He was on fire from three and a great ball mover, and then they move him up to the big club. People were asking, is there room, are there minutes a little bit prematurely to Darko and the coaching staff? And then after a while, the move was made, and I can't wait till he gets more comfortable because I feel like the jump shot's going to fall when that
I think he's going to grow into some stuff and become more dynamic, but I like the fact that he's playing within himself. He's trying to fit into the system. He's not, we talked about this on the last show. He's not saying, okay, it's my turn, I'm going to prove that I belong. I like that about him, and I think there's room to grow, and he's going to become more dynamic as we go along.
I want to ask you this real quick. Mike Brown brought his laptop to the presser. How much is he getting fined, Jonesy?
You know what?
35.
If he gets
35?
If he gets fined, he explained his case.
Yeah.
And he pointed out the inconsistency right there and then. Used video evidence. Riddle me this though. How does Scotty Barnes play 41 minutes, only 2 3-point attempts, and not have a free throw all night?
Yep.
There were a couple opportunities too on the fast break
Yeah.
where I thought he got fouled. But I say 35K.
Yeah. All right, great stuff, guys. Get a stop at the air. Next game for the Raptors is Wednesday versus the Miami Heat. Tip-off course at 7:30 p.m. Eastern. After the game, come on by Real Sports, be a part of the show. Thank you for watching. We'll see you next time. Thanks, buddy.